Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on The Father Show. And I'm your host, Mike Thompson. And I really thank you for joining us today. And before we get started, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe to the show. Just hit that subscription button. And while you're there, don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way, every week when we do a show, you'll be notified. And if you are a man and you are looking for resources that can help you be the best man that you can be, go to the Father Show with MikeThompson.com and click on resources. And there you'll find resources that can help you in whatever situation that you may be. Now, if you can't find what you're looking for, please send me an email at thefathershow@gmail.com and let me know what you're looking for, and we'll do our best to find it for you and get you the information and get it added onto our website. And let's see. So you can always catch us on any show. You can always catch us on our website and on our YouTube channel. Also, you can find us on our Facebook page, LinkedIn page, and also on iHeartRadio's Stitcher, Twitter, Pandora, and other apps. So you can catch us all the time. And that way you don't have to worry about trying to watch the show. You can listen whenever you get ready or whenever it's convenient for you. All right, so let's get started. Today we've got a young man that's coming on the show, and we're going to be talking about fitness because, you know, as we get older, and it don't have to get old, you need to make sure you stay fit. And we have a young man that is a fitness coach that is going to tell us ways and how and the way that we should stay fit, in that way that we can be the best man that we can be. All right, so I want to get started. I want you to welcome my friend Montel Hardin. And Montel, how you doing, brother?
I am doing great, my man. What about you?
Not bad for a Wednesday.
Not bad. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to be here. Glad that you offered me an opportunity to come on the show and kind of speak to the guys that you speak with about health and fitness. I'm super passionate about it and excited to deliver some value.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you wanted to come on the show, and I really appreciate you being here because it is to stay fit. We hear it all the time. You see it in the media. You hear about it, even when you go to the doctor, they go first thing like, are you working out? So it, especially when you get to my age, trust me, they ask all the time. So we know we have to stay fit. And as you mentioned to me, really staying fit is going to make a man feel his best. And that is true. But before we get to that, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Oh yeah, for sure. So my name is Montel Hardin. I'm 25. Yeah, I'm 25. I almost forgot for a second. 25. Had my own fitness company now. Myself along with my wife is our women's coach. We've been doing this since December of 2017. I stay in the Birmingham area, and that's just like I started off working out in college, and I just wanted to kind of boost my confidence, and I was there with all of these D1 athletes like 6'4", 6'5", 220 pounds, and I'm sitting there like 135 pounds. I'm like, man, I ain't gonna get no girls unless I can, put me on some muscle and put me on some size. So I started going to the gym, and then I realized like the mental benefits that it gave me. It helped me develop more discipline, more patience, more self accountability, more self awareness, and it really just changed my life to kind of get my body in good shape and develop a healthy regimen for myself because I didn't have that to begin with. And I just wanted to kind of help other people experience that same thing. And that's kind of how we ended up here.
Yeah, and I know when you mentioned that, you wanted to put on the size and the muscle so that you can get the girls, but it did make you feel better, right?
Absolutely, 100%. And I didn't even, it's like I didn't even realize that I had a confidence issue until I started to improve certain things. And then I realized how much more confidence I actually had once I did. So it was huge.
Yeah, because I know even when I work out, and I don't do it much anymore, but when I used to work out quite a bit, I always felt much better. And that's not just physically, not just the body, but mentally, I felt better as well. Do you find that to be the same?
Exactly. Exactly. That's the biggest thing. Like that's as a businessman or businesswoman, you kind of have to appeal to what people think about. And it's like I'll appeal to you getting in shape physically, but what I really want for my clients and everybody that follows me on social media or whatever is to feel the mental benefit of waking up at 6 a.m., going to the gym, doing something hard, mastering it, getting a win, like you feel like you can conquer the world. You get those endorphins, you get that extra boost of energy and motivation. Like mentally, I think the benefits far outweigh toning up or building some muscle or whatever the case may be. So mentally, I think is the biggest benefit.
Yeah. So is that just getting the sweat and your body moving, or is this also, when you, or most importantly, when you're bulking up or you're trying to put on uh, bigger muscles?
Let's see. Can you say that one more time? I think we broke up just a little bit.
Oh, okay. Do you find that to be the mental part to be a benefit if you're just working out to, move your muscles, or when you're trying to bulk up and build strength along with it?
Yeah, I think the mentality that you have going in is extremely important. Whatever your goal is, whether it's to add on some lean muscle, which like you said, is definitely important as you get older. If you're trying to do that, you're trying to drop weight, whatever the case may be. I think that if you can develop the mindset of doing it for your mental health, for your the ability to develop better discipline, better self control, things like that, I think you'll actually get the results that you're looking for. And that's one thing that I preach a lot. Like if you want to, get in the best shape of your life physically and build that confidence, don't think so much about just your body. Think about think about the mindset of the type of person that you want to be. And I think that kind of leads you into that transformation.
All right. So let me ask you the $1 million question. How often should you work out?
That is a very good question, and you're probably not gonna like the answer, but it honestly varies. It varies from person to person. To me, whatever fits your personal schedule best, whatever you can stay consistent with. Because I have a lot of guys that may try to go straight out of the gate, training 5, 6 days a week, and then they fizzle out maybe a month in, 2 months in, because it's just unsustainable for their schedule. So you need to, if you can only train twice a week with the way that your work schedule is, or your business and your family or whatever, like train twice a week and do that consistently for 6 years. Like that's going to get you much more benefit than training 5 days a week for a couple of months and then taking the rest of the year off because you can't get back on track.
Yeah.
Because once you have a split that you can actually adhere to, then you can go, 2 full body days or upper body, lower body day. And you can really start to build some type of consistent regimen around that. So anywhere between 2 to 5 days a week, I think works for pretty much everybody. No need
Okay.
at all to go 7 days.
Yeah, because you always hear that people say you have to work out 5 days a week. And I think you're correct when you look at it and say, well, I can't do 5 days a week. So you know what? Forget about it. I'm just not going to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I like what you're saying. If
Exactly.
you make it fit into your schedule, whatever your schedule will allow, and do that. So at least you're doing something.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's it. And it's like once you can commit to, okay, I can definitely go, let's say it's 3 times a week. Once you commit to that, then you can actually create a framework for yourself to actually go in the gym and get better and improve on things and get stronger and start seeing progress. because you've actually fully locked in and committed to something that you can do, like I said, for 1, 2, 3 years at a time. The
Hmm.
time frame that it's going to take to see real metabolic change and get your body to where you want it to be.
So working out either in the morning or the night or even in the afternoon, because I got a good friend of mine that works out in the afternoon, doesn't really matter as long as you're working out.
Yeah, it depends on what phase you're in. If you're at the point where you're not going to the gym at all right now, or working out at home, then just try to get it in whenever you can get it in, because that's the first step. And
Hmm.
then the next step after that is going to be trying to work out at the most optimal time around your eating, which is a very important part. You should always try to train maybe about an hour after you've had a pretty good meal, especially if
Okay.
you had a lot of good carbs in that meal. So either breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever works for you the best is fine. But try to work around your eating, and then also work out when you're less stressed. For most people, that is typically the first thing in the morning. And then again on the other side, for most people, they're most stressed at the end of the night. So that's kind of a bad time to work out, because you're gonna talk yourself out of the gym. You're gonna say, "Man, boss made me mad. Customers got on my nerves today, whatever the case may be, and I just don't want to do it." So I think working out in the early morning or around noon, anywhere between 12 to 2 o'clock or so, is kind of like the sweet spot for developing consistency.
Okay. So that the eating is a very important part. You want to make sure you eat enough before you go work out. Now, does that matter if you are working out with light weights for, say, cardio, or you're working out to bulk up?
Yeah, so eating and your nutrition always plays a huge factor. You may not necessarily see a big kind of benefit or boost depending on how you're training in that actual workout,
Hmm.
but when you're going through the process of tearing down muscle, which is, if you're lifting weights and you're tearing down muscle, even if you're doing like more high intensity stuff, it's still kind of the same concept. So you're still tearing down muscle, and you need that fuel to rebuild, and then you also need the fuel to go through your workout. But that's where I honestly think that working out is the easy part of, let's say that your goal is to drop 50 pounds. Working
Hmm.
out is actually the easy part, believe it or not. I think the most difficult aspect is eating what you need to eat day in and day out to fuel that process, because the process of burning fat actually takes food, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. I know it doesn't sound like it makes sense, but that's what happens. Your body needs food to burn fat, it needs food to burn muscle, and it needs a certain type of foods as well. So your nutrition plays a huge factor when it comes to getting the results you want.
Now, when you say being on a diet and you want to work out to lose the weight, I know for me, when I used to work out, especially in my 20s and 30s, my eating habit totally changed. I couldn't even stand a fast food hamburger. My diet would have consist of, a salad or some great protein foods, but I wouldn't want no fast food and I wouldn't want any junk food. My body wouldn't even, request it. It was like, no. Do you find that to be the case in a lot?
Absolutely, absolutely, and
Okay.
that's a great kind of like point that you drew with that, because I call it like the CEO effect. Like when you go through the process of working out early in the morning and you get that early win, and you're like, man, I'm the man. I got it done. I went hard in the gym today. It's like all of a sudden, now you only want to eat high quality foods. Now you
Hmm.
only want to consume things that get you closer to your goals, because you don't want that work to go to waste. You don't want to have busted your butt for an hour and a half in the gym, or wherever, however long you spent, and then go through the McDonald's drive-through. So that's a very, very common thing. And it's kind of just like habit stacking. Like if you continuously put good habits together, you'll
Hmm.
start to develop more good habits. And working out is kind of like the foundation. And then it's easier to start eating healthier. And then from eating healthier, you can start branching off into other things.
Yeah. And then ultimately you start losing weight. And because you're eating right and you're working out and you're burning more calories at the same time.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you, the expert. Is stretching important before you start working out and even afterwards?
Yeah, stretching is a big part. There's two different kinds of stretches. I wish I could kind of demonstrate them because a lot of people do kind of get confused on how they should stretch.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning of your workout, you want to do a little bit more of what's called active stretch or mobility work, where you're mimicking the movement of the things that you're going to do. So, let's say, for
Hmm.
instance, you're about to do some squats. Then you'll, without weight, without a dumbbell or a barbell or whatever, you'll do some light, shallow body weight squats to kind of get those muscles warm, get them activated. Kind of like, turning the car on in the wintertime. You go run outside and turn the car on real quick, and you let it, let it warm up a little bit before you actually drive it. It's kind of the same concept.
Mm-hmm.
And then after your workout is when you want to do the traditional stretching of where you'll, maybe you sit down on the ground, spread your legs out, put your hands in the middle, and hold it there for 30 seconds. That's called a static stretch. So you want to do your static stretching after your workout, and then you want to do your more active mobility type stretching or mobility work before your workout to mimic the movements that you're going to do.
Okay. And is it important to really know just how much weight you should be lifting?
Yeah, that's a good question as well. I think obviously from exercise to exercise is going to vary, but it really all depends on your frequency in the gym, your frequency working out. I know a mistake a lot of guys make, especially, is trying to do the last thing that they remember doing. So if you haven't been
Mm-hmm.
to the gym in 5 years, you come back and because 5 years ago you did 225 on bench press, they try to go throw 225 on again 5 years later without any type of consistency. And you just kind of have to fill it out with your body. You have to humble yourself. You have to have no ego when you go in and just try things out. See, okay, this is a little light. This is lighter. This is getting a little heavier. Like, okay, this is my sweet spot right here. But just start at a baseline. Don't be afraid to go in there and just lift the bar or lift the small dumbbells first. Kind of get a feel for where your body is at this point, and then build from there.
Yeah, because I would think it would be important. And then I know, us men, when we see somebody else working out and they, got 245s on each end of the dumbbell, getting ready to bench press, and they said, well, I used to do that, like you said, about 5 years ago. And they go try that, and they shouldn't even, but your testosterone and your masculinity goes into play, and you say, oh, wait a minute, now I'm gonna try that because that's what I used to do, and I don't want to look weak in the gym, and that's the wrong thing to do. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. That's a huge thing right there too. Is like we use our ego so much as guys for everything, but especially when it comes to big macho things like lifting
Mm-hmm.
weights, and it's like, oh well, this is what I'm used to doing, or this is what they're doing, or I'm not weak, I'm not this, I'm not that. But like, it's not about that. It's about long term health. It's about preserving joints and ligaments and things like that. And we can't afford to be getting hurt. You got
Yeah.
mortgage, you got kids, and a spouse to take care of. You can't afford to have your shoulder thrown out because you wanted to lift with your ego instead of actually trying to get healthy,
Mm-hmm.
and do something that's going to slowly get your body back in better shape. So we got to stop that mindset. We got to go in ready to learn, implement, and just get where we want to be long term, not just for that moment.
Yeah. Now, does a having a nice physique really even matter for men?
Got you. Does having a nice physique matter? Um, I think you have to understand what a nice physique means for you personally. Don't let society, or don't let what somebody else feels you should be doing or how you should look define what you are most comfortable with. I think that all of us should be able to look in the mirror and feel confident in ourselves, and that's something that we don't get enough as guys. We're kind of taught not to focus on our physical appearance or not to care about what we look like, but the fact of the matter is We all care what we look like. We all want to present ourselves well, and we all do that in some way. If it's not with your body, then you're doing it with your clothes, with your shoes, with your jewelry, with your
Hmm.
car. Like we all do it as guys in some way. So I definitely think it's important. But I think that, like I said, you just have to really be self aware and know what a nice physique means for you. For some guys, they would like to have, visible abs year round. For other guys, they don't care about that as much, but they want to be, kind of stocky. They want to have a little bit of lean muscle on them and have
Hmm.
some good size to them. Other guys want to be extremely lean, hanging out around 8 to 12% body fat year round. So just figure out where you feel the most comfortable and what meets health and your specific phase of life at that time. But for every guy, I think having a physique you're confident in is important.
Is it important or does it matter at any age that you should talk with your physician first before you start working out?
Yeah, I think that if you've been out of it for a while, you should probably at least have had, some sort of either basic physical or if you are at the point where, maybe you're on a lot of medications, maybe for high blood pressure, cholesterol, things like that, because those things can make it a little bit more difficult when you talk about elevating heart rate, when you talk about extremely intense training.
Hmm.
Just be mindful of that, kind of get some guidance there, which a lot of times they may not necessarily be able to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. They'll tell you whether or not you should or shouldn't exercise at all. But for, I'm going to say, 85% of the population, pretty much everybody is going to benefit from getting under some weights and getting stronger, building muscle, taking some walks around the park, increasing your cardiovascular strength. I think that's
Hmm.
something that pretty much every doctor is going to okay, unless you have some special conditions kind of, telling otherwise.
And would the age make a difference? Because I know when you're 20, you can do certain things. When you're 30, you can do certain things. And 40 and 50s and 60s and even the 70s, you can do certain things. Is there a different workout that you want to have when you say over 50? Oh, I think I lost you. Oh, there you go.
Let's see. All right. Can you ask that one more time?
Is there, with age, different ages, you have different things that you can do and want to do. What about when you are, say, over 50? Is there, do you work out differently than you would if you were in your 40s or your 30s?
Let's see. We're still on my. I think it's on my end, but I'm breaking up pretty
Oh, yeah.
bad. I apologize,
Okay.
because I can't. I couldn't hear that question at all. Really.
Okay. Well, I
I
know
can. I
we're,
think I can hear you a little bit better
can
now.
you hear me? Okay. Can you hear me a little bit better?
Yeah. Yeah. I can hear you
But it's still breaking up quite a bit?
now. It just cleared up. It's pretty clear now.
Okay. So the question I had was, when you're turning over 50, your workout regimen should be different than it is when you're in your 30s or your 40s.
You said do the workouts kind of change, or is it different when you're in your 30s and 40s?
Yeah, and your 50s and 60s.
Okay. Yeah. I think that you should probably lower intensity a little bit. Maybe whatever you did at 18, 25, maybe even early 30s. Intensity probably needs to dial down a tad bit, just due to the fact that you're not going to be able to promote nearly as much muscle growth at that phase of life as you would, and earlier in life, between, like I said, 18 to around 28 years old or so.
Hmm.
But at the same time, you still want to be challenging yourself. You still want to train intensely. Like, you don't want to scare yourself away from, having a tough workout or, lifting heavy weight. You should still do that, but just have to understand that your recovery rate isn't going to be quite as high as, maybe when you were younger and you were working out all the time. And you may not be able to promote as much lean muscle growth as you
Hmm.
did beforehand. So just kind of keep those things in mind, but always push yourself, always train hard, no matter if you're 30, 50, 80. I just saw a 95-year-old deadlift 135 pounds, and they were only like 98 pounds themselves. So
Wow.
as long as you continue to push hard, exactly, as long as you continue to push hard and do the work, then you'll always remain strong and able to challenge yourself.
Okay. Well, Montel, unfortunately, that's our time for today. But I want you to really tell their audience how they can get in touch with you in case they want to get your coaching and, learn how and what to do and when the best time to do it.
Yeah, for sure. So, if you want to connect with me, LinkedIn is a great place. Just Montel Hardin over on LinkedIn. Then if you use Instagram at coach.montel over there on Instagram, those are two places where we can connect. Have a conversation about your specific goals and see if we're a good fit to work together. I specialize in helping guys, especially between 35 or 30 to 40, really drop body fat, belly fat especially, build lean muscle, create a sustainable nutrition system that allows you to eat healthy while on the go without having to cook a lot of meals, how to train without spending hours in the gym, and just create an optimal system around your specific body and goals to get you where you want to be. So, LinkedIn, Montel Hardin, and then Instagram at coach.montel. Feel free to shoot me a message or a follow, and we'll reach out to see if we can help.
Okay. And I'm going to put that information on the screen as well so they will be able to find it. And for those of you listening, all you have to do is rewind and you can get Montel's information. But Montel, man, I want to thank you for being on the show today. It really has been a great time, and I appreciate you coming on and sharing that information. And maybe one day we can get you on and watch you work out or show some exercise that men should could do.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'd definitely love to be back on and kind of in some better circumstances once I'm in my office, I can really kind of demonstrate some things and go through some things. I would love to be back on and help you guys out.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. But don't hang up, and we'll talk a little bit after the show. Okay. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining us here, and I want to thank Montel Hardin for also coming on the show and sharing his knowledge about what we as men can do to work out and get the best body that we can have and get the best mindset that we can have. And I know just like a lot of men out there, I don't work out nowhere near as much as I should and sometimes desire to, but I got to get better. And so I'm going to challenge you as well as myself. Let's get out there and do the best we can. Whatever it is, because it doesn't have to do it in the gym. You can do it, in your neighborhood. You can walk, you can run. You have to figure out what is the best workout for you that's going to fit your body and your lifestyle at the same time. So, but don't forget, call Montel, talk with him and see what he recommends for you. All right. But before we go, if you have not subscribed to the show, please subscribe to the show on our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell while you're there. And that way, every week when we have a show up, you'll be notified and you will know about it. So I want to thank you for joining us today and being with us on the show. And don't forget, come next week. And most importantly, tell somebody else, let them know that the Father Show is here for them, and we're here to make our men the best version of themselves that they can be. And contact Montel. If you need to get a workout regimen going, contact him, let him work with you, and I'm sure he'll be able to get you where you want to go. All right. So I thank you. God bless you. Have a great week. And I look forward to seeing you again next week.